Live, yes.
Ah,
Hello. We're
Hey,
live.
Sully, try the intro music for me, please.
Sure, I'll try it. Whoa. I didn't want that
can you hear me
happening.
okay today?
So what?
Can you hear me okay today?
I can. You sound
Yeah.
great.
Okay. Well, at least one thing's working.
We have audio and video. All right. So let me test this out real quick.
I did the same freaking thing and I'm plugged in.
So it's doing the same thing and you're plugged in.
Yeah, hang on, let me look at something here.
Oofa.
Yeah, and
Oofa.
I don't understand it unless maybe I shut down Discord and then restart it plugged in.
I wouldn't even bother right now. I'll cue you.
Okay.
We'll do like that countdown thing. I'll just be like 5, 4, 3, 2, boom,
1, go.
and then done.
We
All
can do
right.
that. Big
All
Tank
right.
says, dude, I remember watching the episode, but don't really remember the episode.
And
then
he and I were talking about it too.
then you didn't really watch the episode.
Yeah, man, you watch it. Man. All right. You know what?
I mean, come on. Kay was half asleep when we watched it, and she remembers the episode.
It was awesome.
Yeah.
It was
Okay, say-
awesome.
Say that again, a little louder.
Yeah, Tank, what's wrong with you?
Yeah, Tank, what's wrong with you?
Get on the ball, man!
You know it's bad when Kay is getting on Tank to get on the freaking ball.
Right. All
Hi,
right.
Carol.
Carol's in the chat. Hello, everybody. Welcome. We're gonna talk
Nakaya
about.
will be here as soon as she can.
Yeah. All right.
Yes.
All right, JT. I'm gonna cue you in. Ready? 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome once again to Avenger Pretenders. This week, once again, we step outside of the MCU to review episode 6 of the Book of Boba Fett. Grab your popcorn, grab your candy, grab whatever it is that makes you happy, and your adult beverage. Sit back, relax, and enjoy the show. Sully, it's all yours, man.
Oh, why, thank you, sir. And for some reason, my camera just stopped working. Let's see if JT camera. There's JT's camera. Let's see if Dennis's camera's working. There it is. Hello, everybody. I don't know why mine stopped working all of a sudden, but that was interesting. So I'll just put I'll go between JT and Western Echo for the time being. So hello, everybody. Welcome to Avenger Pretenders. I'm Sully. You can't see me at the moment, but you will shortly. That much I can promise you. And we are talking about the Book of Boba Fett for this special edition of Avenger Pretenders, where we're in the wonderful galaxy far, far away. Oh, yes, far, far away. And we're liking it so far. I think the general consensus is we are actually liking this, which is
And guys,
great.
even Kay
Yes.
is enjoying it. So, I mean, that says a lot.
He does. And Dennis, what about you? You're enjoying it, right?
Said it last time. This is definitely a series for hardcore Star Wars fans, more so than even The Mandalorian.
Oh, yeah. And actually, right now, we're at, what is it, Mandalorian 2.5?
Yeah.
I believe that was the exact term we used, 2.5. Which, hey, it works. You know? It does
no.
work. You know?
Well, now it's 2.6 because this is episode 6. So
It is 2.6. You guys converse. I have to answer the phone real quick.
Oh, jeez.
Who do you think it is? Let's ask the chat. Who's calling Sully?
Right. It is somebody. It is either an emergency, which we hope not,
Oh,
or
let's
it
hope
is
not.
somebody who is a dumbass and forgot that, hey, it's Monday, Sully's on the air. And we know that happens a lot. We sat there on the Sully show and actually answered the phone on speakers so that everybody could hear what was going on.
That's the only way to do this. If people call you on the show, put them on the spot.
Mhm.
Of course.
Yep, exactly. Dude, did you forget that it was Monday at 8:15? What? Well, actually, it's 2 minutes after 8, and then everything is like, well, I figured you were probably going to start late because of that Sully effect crap. No, we actually started on time this time.
You know, it's actually a very good reason.
So, let me ask you this.
Sure.
You made the comment just now that, well, and you've made it a couple of times, that this is a series for a hardcore Star Wars fan.
More so than the casual fan, yes, because it's just
Okay.
stacked with so many callbacks and references and little things that only really the complete Star Wars nerds would even know. Like I'm not really a Star Wars nerd. I love the series, I love the Star Wars universe, but I'm not as nearly as hardcore nerd as Sully's. But even Sully's learning new things right now. Like every now and then, something like ooh. And I get this reaction from everybody, and that's why I'm saying it's more for hardcore fans. Not a bad thing. It's not
Right.
too deep off the deep end, rather.
Right. Well, and the reason I asked that is because I am nowhere near a hardcore fan. I love Star Wars. Don't get me wrong. But I don't think I am even as much of a fan of Star Wars as you are. We have Sully, who's like, actually up on, the cloud planet.
I'm out of this world. That's what I am.
I just said you're up on the cloud planet, and then there's you who's sitting on Tatooine, and then there's me who's just trying to get a freaking launch off of Earth to get up to where you guys are. Okay.
You try to hitch a ride.
Yeah, exactly. I tried to get to one with Boba, but he's only got one seat in that damn thing. Or not Boba, with Mandalorian. Sorry.
He tries.
But I'm really, really enjoying this. Even the callbacks, and that kind of thing. So, if anything, I think this could be a Star Wars episode that would take somebody who is, I won't say the casual fan. Maybe I don't know what one step above that would be, but I think this could be a series that could take that casual fan and actually bring them into it even more.
So like a gateway series.
Kind of. Yeah, and even The Mandalorian. I think this one, even though it's got so many flashbacks and like you were talking about, so many references to the movies and the TV shows and all that, it's still very relatable, I think, to a lot of the more casual fans, and especially because of the way they've run the last couple of episodes.
Yep.
With diving into the realm of, Luke training and all that kind of stuff. So I think that's really cool. I think it could be very easily a gateway series for those that person that wants to get a little bit more into it.
It's getting people engaged. It's actually getting people, even like me. Like I've seen bits and pieces of the Clone Wars and the animated series, but this is making me want to actually go back and rewatch them now.
I've never seen Clone Wars because I was talking to Sully, and we'll get into why I was talking to Sully about it. And he says, it's from Clone Wars. When he initially said that, I thought he meant Attack of the Clones.
Mm-hmm.
Come on, Clone Attack of the Clones. It fit. Well, I found out tonight that I'm an idiot because that's not what he was talking about. There's actually an animated series that now I'm going to have to freaking go look at to learn more. Damn you, Sully.
You poor bastard.
Old white people's problems.
But I was watching, like, I think I'm probably about halfway through, what was it, The Renegades?
Right.
You know, I've started on that series. I never actually finished it. I'd been pulled off on other crap and everything, but I definitely think this is a series more than Mando that could definitely, you know, work for that person who wants more, wants to get a little bit more into it, because this would really make them go, okay, there's something about that, and then they figure, okay, I need to go watch this, you know, so they can get them delved into it even more. So
Agreed.
I really like the way they run this, though.
Which brings me to, you know, even Dennis's point where he's saying that I'm learning some new things, which yes, absolutely, as a Star Wars fan, I am learning new things, but at the same time it's more like dusting off the cobwebs, because they're showing things and I'm going, I've seen that before.
Man, it's been 20 years since I rode this hovercraft. Let's see if we can do it again.
Well, not even that. It was just more, like, especially this episode. With this episode, I'm saying to myself, holy crap, they're diving deep. And I know I'm a broken record. The legends are now coming up as canon, which is good. We want that. I mean, we have...
They're relevant.
Yeah, well,
they're really relevant with the points and that they're trying to make, and the things that they're trying to push out.
And it needs to be done. I'm sorry, but and don't get me wrong, I loved the new sequel trilogy. Some things were questionable, but it was just good to see Star Wars on the big screen again. And at the same time, you've got the Dave Filoni and Jon Favreau are the saviors of Star Wars. I hate it's not J.J. Abrams. Sorry, J.J. I know you're good and do whatever you need to do, but Dave Filoni and Jon Favreau, they're the guys. Dave Filoni, because he knows Star Wars better than anybody next to George Lucas. And Jon Favreau he's the frickin' voice of the nerds. He really is. He's the voice of the nerds. I mean, look what he did with Marvel, for crying out loud. He's the voice of the nerds. Like, no. You need to appease to the nerds. You need to give them what they know and what they want. So when we found out that it's legend or canon, you're like, what the hell are they talking about? To the point now where...
Literally.
Well, and that's the thing. To the point now, we're finally seeing things from the past in the legends category possibly becoming real. For example, Shadows of the Empire.
Well, I mean, to me, they're kind of doing like they did with Loki, where they are leaving. With every episode, they are leaving more and more things
open
that open, so that they could spin it off into this series, or they could spin it off into this new Star Wars movie.
Yeah,
you know, and those kind of things, and just like I said with Loki, you know, it just sets up so many things that, as a geek like you,
I'm proud of it.
You're going to be sitting there going, "What's next? What's next? What's next?" Just as much as me is sitting here going, God, all the things that they could do.
Yes.
You know, I'm looking forward to seeing what's going to be next.
Yes. Which brings us into last week's episode. We start the episode off where we see some moisture evaporators and the Pikes doing their secret little deals out on the moisture farms of Tatooine. Good callback to, obviously, Star Wars and the Owens farm. Can't say the Skywalker farm because it's just they're Owens. And we see a bunch of Pikes, and then we see a very familiar face. Cobb Vanth.
Now, correct me if I'm wrong,
yes.
But he is a very familiar face from Mando.
Yes. So
that's correct.
So Cobb Vanth is the marshal of the town. I forget the name of the town. Echo, do you remember the name of the town?
Freetown now.
Rename it to Freetown. Yes.
Yes, Freetown. We're Freetown now.
It was something that started with an M, if I remember right. Because I just watched it a little bit ago. I think it was something that started with an M.
Mos Pelgo? Is that what it was?
That's it.
Mos Pelgo?
Right.
Which it's small
Well,
town.
and if you think about it, Moisture Farm, Moss, they kind of go together.
There you go. That's a. You know what, JT? I'm proud of you. You're putting two and two together.
Well, yeah, it depends. Did they spell it MOSS? Or did they spell
it's just one S.
Like German style and MAUS. Moss.
Yeah, it's just one S because of Mos Eisley. It's basically just MOS. That's all it is. So in the long run, he shows up and he breaks up the deal, and he flat out tells them, "Listen, go away, or things are going to happen. I'm the marshal here. What you're doing is illegal, and if you walk away now, we're done. We're done. We don't have to worry about this." And this is where the old school Western comes in. And I've said it till I'm blue in the face multiple times that these movies and TV shows pretty much have already been done. It's the old school Western with space and science fiction and fantasy and all of that stuff.
Well, but if you think about it, that's exactly what, especially Tatooine. That's what Tatooine is. It's
a desert.
It's the desert. Where the cowboy you got to cross to get to the to the town and all this good crap. So it works really well in the storytelling. Yeah, for Echo it kind of but it still adds a nice little touch to it. To me.
Man, he's getting his jabs in for you, huh?
Real quick, Big Tank says, dude, I could have sworn at first that it was Pierce Brosnan before he finally saw the close-up of Tim Oliphant.
Yes.
And I kind of did too for a second. Like, is that the 007 guy? Literally, that's what went through my head.
And let's face it, Timothy Oliphant is no stranger to Westerns. No stranger to Westerns. I forget what it was called. He was a sheriff, I believe.
Oh God, Joe loves this show. It's 5 seasons. On something. Oh my God, that's gonna bother me.
Something While you try to figure that out, Big Tank said it's a space age spaghetti western.
And the show was Justified.
Justified.
Oh, you were nowhere close. You were further off than I was, and I didn't even make a guess.
And Big Tank chimed in at the same time as soon as I said it. So Justified. And listen, he like I said, he's no stranger to Westerns, and Justified is just more of a modern day Western. It took place during the modern day, but it was
very smooth.
Yeah, well, that's the thing, and he's a very underrated actor, to be honest. He can do pretty much anything, which is amazing. So I love that they have him as Cobb Vanth, and we get to the point where the Pikes really aren't listening, and they go to attack him, and he shoots all but one. And
think about it.
Which one?
Think about it.
Yeah.
Think about it.
Just think about it.
Think about it.
And I mean, he was
that simple phrase. It can stop you in your tracks. Think about it.
Think long and hard of what you're about to do, folks. Long and hard. So he tells the Pike enforcer, "Listen, I didn't see what was in this box, so you didn't commit any crime. But just think about it. Don't do it. Dump the contents." He walks away. He opens it up. He sees it's full of spice. He knocks it over, and it goes all over the desert.
I like what the Pike said, because when he told him, put the chest on the ground.
Whole town.
Yeah, it's worth more than your town.
Yes.
Well, maybe I'll retire. I love it. I mean, it's perfect.
I mean, listen, he gave him the perfect opportunity. You can either move along, or shit's gonna happen. and yes, in the Star Wars galaxy, spice, you always hear something about spice runners, spice mines at Kessel. You hear it. Now they're bringing it to the forefront because the spice, that's what really brings in the money to make all these weapons for the Empire or the First Order or even the Rebellion. And that's where, that's where the money is. It's good business.
Yeah, I mean, and if you think back a couple of episodes when Boba Fett was having the meeting with all the clan leaders, one of them said, "We've made a lot of money off of spice. Why would we want that to change?"
Yeah. Why change it? So from there, obviously, we see the intro to the show, and then we see a very familiar face. We see Din Djarin flying his modified N1 Nubian starfighter with hyperdrive.
Super hyperdrive.
Well, that thing's got nitrous is what it is. And
basically.
So they you see him landing on a green forested world, and if you've seen this world before, you might have, you might not have. If in fact they are going by the legends, which would be the novels, the comics, so on and so forth, to me, it may be that they're on Yavin 4, which, if you remember from Star Wars, that's where they did the Battle of Yavin, and they destroyed the Death Star years before. So it's a possibility. I don't know. They don't actually name the planet, so it's a little interesting. But you can see the mountains. You can see the wonderful, beautiful atmosphere. And when he lands, he meets up with R2-D2, a very familiar face, R2-D2. And R2 guides him to a nice little area along the river where, he can keep his ship, and brings him to Luke. Or so we think. Big Tank says, "Excuse me, but what is a Nubian?" A Nubian is from the planet Naboo. It's from the planet Naboo. So a Nubian starfighter. So Naboo, Nubian, Gungans, hello. They're all there. It's all there.
I didn't know that.
Yeah, well, now you do, JT. Now you do.
Thanks. Thank the tank.
So he's talking with R2. R2 brings him to an area that yes, there you go. Thanks, Dennis, for the Nubian starfighter. And as you can see, the R2 unit is in there. It can hold one R2 unit, but in his case, it doesn't use any.
Yes.
So thank you for that. Dennis is quick.
Yes.
Dennis is very quick when it comes to pulling stuff up. So thank you, sir. So from there, he brings R2 brings him to an area where we see some spider-like droids, or ant-like droids, I guess you could say, and they're building something. They're putting all these bricks together. They're building some type of hut, maybe for training. Right now it's just in pieces. And
out of the rain.
And he gets to the point where R2 shuts down, and
wake up, droid. Dude, the one thing he should have done
was knock on his head.
Was knock on his head. It was the most disappointing thing about this entire episode, was that he did not knock on R2-D2's head.
Yeah.
I mean, come on. Hello? Anybody in there?
From there, the ant droids, they make him a bench, and R2 pretty much tells Din Djarin to wait. I came all this way. I need to see Grogu and Luke Skywalker, And while they make him a bench.
So basically, he went into a dentist waiting room.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I mean, yeah, pretty much. or any
Actually,
type of doctor waiting room.
I was gonna say any type of doctor, yeah.
And from there, we see Luke with Grogu. They're meditating, and it was interesting. I'm kind of torn with this whole thing. You know, Dennis, the picture's blurred out. I can't really see it too much. It's a little blurry because I think you made it as your background. Whoopsie.
So what is it that you're fighting with on this?
So I think we need to kind of save this for the end. Not just for the rating of the episode, but more of what both Dennis and I have talked about and what you and I have talked about with certain things that have happened in the episode pertaining to Luke and Grogu. And then we'll get into it. So a lot of the things that I can understand why they did it. Some things I'm like, whoa, why are you doing that? And then at the same time, I'm like, oh yeah, that's right. If I remember correctly, that's why they're doing this. So
I can see where you're kind of fighting with yourself, but
yeah,
I think that them doing this now
was great.
Really, it really set the groundwork, the foundation for what happens at the end of the episode.
Yeah.
And the reason I say that is because, when they're first going through this, they're supposed to be meditating and, he's playing with a frog and,
yes,
I want you to, jump for me. And, he gets that far off the ground. One of the cutest little jumps I've ever seen, by the way.
He was adorable.
And that kind of thing. And then when he's talking to the lady, he makes the comment that
the lady,
Ahsoka I don't know her name. So
Ahsoka Tano.
But he makes the comment, I wonder sometimes if his heart is really in this.
Yes. So
that really sets the groundwork and everything for what happens.
Yes.
To me, I see where you're coming from when you're saying, it should have all been, at the end. But at the same time, I love the way that it set the groundwork for what happened.
Yes. Dennis, I'm glad you threw up this picture because I want to show everybody what happens, because this is basically what's happening. As Luke is talking to Grogu and doing what he needs to do in order to kind of, I don't want to say start his training, because he's obviously had training before. He survived Order 66. He asks Grogu if
he's going to kind of assess where he's at.
Yeah. And he asks Grogu if he wants to remember. And Luke basically opens up his mind, and Grogu passes out. But then we see the flashback from Grogu's eyes of what he saw with Order 66. Which
that was pretty wild, too.
It was crazy.
I mean, you're seeing everything going on in front of him in his eyes.
Yes.
I mean, it was like looking into two black marbles.
And we know what happened with Order 66. We know the Jedis were destroyed. We know the temple was raided. We know Anakin brought the clone troopers in, and they were just doing what they needed to do. They were following orders. So for them to show it from Grogu's eyes and seeing I think there was like 2 or 3 different Jedi protecting Grogu.
Mm-hmm. There was 3 of them.
And that was a big thing. So we're seeing what this baby, even though he's, in this he's 50 years old, so you figure between Order 66 and now it's 20 years, so he was in his 30s. So he was an infant, if you think.
And he still is in the ages of his race.
Yeah.
He's still a baby.
Right.
And will be for quite a while.
Right. And
I mean, how old was Yoda?
Well, so Yoda was he was 800 in the prequels, and then he was
Right.
over 900 in in Empire Strikes Back and Return of the Jedi. So
you could almost say that he was close to 1,000 years old.
Yeah, give or take.
And that's 10 people's lifetimes.
Right.
If they all live to be 100.
Right.
Yeah, the Star Wars video, Yoda passed at being 900 years old.
900 years old. When 900-year-olds you'll be, look good you will not.
And that's a very important point to make, as we'll find out later.
Yes, very much so. And when he finally remembers and he sees this, Luke kind of welcomes him back a little bit, and he's saying to him, listen, it doesn't matter if you're big or small. This is what you're doing. And that's
your size does not.
That's where, the teachings of Yoda come into play from Empire Strikes Back with Luke, because now Luke is wearing Grogu. Grogu's on his backpack, and they're going through the forest, and he's flipping and doing exactly what he did with Yoda, and he's teaching him just like Yoda did. And that's where things get interesting, because he says to Grogu that the galaxy is a dangerous place, and that he's going to teach Grogu to defend himself. And that's when the two of them just start reflecting, and they're meditating once again. And as that's happening, Din Djarin is still on his bench, only this time he's laying down, he's chilling out. And Ahsoka Tano sneaks up on him, but doesn't really sneak up on him, but,
He's just leaning up against the tree.
Yeah, she's just there.
She's chilling out. She's like, okay,
Yeah.
I don't want to startle him. I'll just wait till he wakes up.
Right, exactly. And when he finally gets startled by Ahsoka, she basically says, he's an old friend of the family. Which technically he is. He's an old friend of the family, because she was Anakin's Padawan, which refers back to the Clone Wars, So in a lot of ways, Ahsoka is a sister to Luke and Leia. Because
God.
What, JT? What?
My brain just took Ahsoka and associated it with the article from Tuesday.
Oh no. Let's move on.
Yes, please do.
So
I'm still laughing about that, by the way.
it was good. So with Ahsoka there now, she's explaining to Din Djarin that he says to her, you said you wouldn't train him. And she said she's not. Master Luke is. And that's for a good number of reasons. One, Ahsoka's not a Jedi anymore. She got, and I know this is going to be spoiler alert for you, JT, but I'm sure, if you decide to watch Clone Wars,
I've had so many spoilers in these things that it don't matter.
Yeah, I mean, this is 7 seasons of a TV show. So
right.
She, toward the I think it was season 5 was the last, and then Netflix took over. And then once Disney Plus came out, they did the final season finally to show what happens. And in season 5 of Clone Wars, Ahsoka's framed for murder as a Jedi. And she goes and solves the case. And the Jedi Order says, okay, well, you can come back in. And she says, no, I'm done.
Right.
I'm done. I'm not going to be a Jedi anymore. So she walks away from the Order. And that played a very big role for Anakin, because that's really when Anakin started to really turn to the dark side. He's all alone. He doesn't have his Padawan anymore. Yes, he still had Obi-Wan Kenobi, but he didn't have his Padawan learner, and that kind of helped drive his emotions toward the dark side. So
I can see that with what happened to her and everything. I can see him going. I can see that going on.
Absolutely. So for her to be there right now, that's a good thing, because she's explaining to him that he's going to have to make a choice. It's either going to be a Mandalorian or train to be a Jedi. And if he sees him, that's going to bring up all these emotions, which brings us to some fan theories that Grogu may actually turn to the dark side. Could it happen?
During the entire conversation that they had, the line that I found very, very interesting was, because when he first sees her, he's like, "Hey, well, I thought you weren't going to train him. I'm not."
Right.
And then as they're walking, he asks her, well, why wouldn't you train him? And she's like, because it wasn't my choice. I can't make other people do things. And it was, up to Luke whether he was going to train him or not.
Yes.
It wasn't up to her. And I like how she emphasized that to him. But the thing that got me was how, and I don't know if it would, because she may not be a Jedi, but she's still trained in the Jedi arts.
Yeah, well, that's her whole
everything.
life.
So I don't know. I don't know if maybe this was just me making shit up in the episode or whatever.
Most likely not.
But I kind of wondered, because during their conversation, and this is going to jump us a little bit ahead, and I hope I don't throw everything out, but during their conversation, he sees Luke and Grogu up on the hill.
Yep.
And they're standing there talking, and she says, well, go ahead and give it to him. And then she's like, but is that really why you're here? And it stops him cold. And it kind of, to me, it kind of felt like these are not the droids you're looking for.
Yeah.
Moment in this episode, right then and there, because all of a sudden his mind changed.
Yes.
Because he was dead set. I want to see him. I've got to see him in order to know that he's okay. And I want to give him this armor.
Yes. And
all of a sudden he, did a 180-degree turn out of nowhere. And it's like, wait a minute. This is not the droid you're looking for moment.
Yes.
Maybe it was just me.
Well, so I think you're on the right path, JT. I really do. And the only reason why I think you're on the right path is because you're seeing this from somebody on the outside.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. And just like Ahsoka Tano explains, it's going to be very difficult for Grogu to make the decision that he needs to make for himself. Because even though he's 50, he's still a child, but for his species, he's technically an adult as a human.
Right. Well, and he keeps calling him a Mandalorian foundling.
Yes, a foundling. Because he was a foundling. He found him. It was part of a bounty that he was working on, rescued him and saved him and wanted to protect him. Okay? And just like Ahsoka Tano said, it's Luke's decision, not hers, but part of that is because he does not know that Ahsoka Tano is not a Jedi anymore. We really don't know she's not a Jedi. Well, us fans know because of Clone Wars, but even in Star Wars Rebels, in Rebels, I think it was season 4, season 3, season 4-ish, where she comes face to face with Darth Vader and Anakin. And Anakin flat out says, revenge is not the Jedi way. Which is true. Revenge is not the Jedi way. And Ahsoka responds with, I'm no Jedi, which is why her lightsabers are all so white. She doesn't have an affiliation to the Jedi Order. Yes, she is trained as a Jedi, It's her whole life. She was a Padawan learner. She never became a Jedi Knight. But personally, and this is up for great debate when it comes to Star Wars, and I'm sure Dennis has seen many a debate. The strongest Jedi is not a Sith or a Jedi. It is one that embraces both the light and the dark, and there's perfect balance, becoming a gray Jedi, which is where Ahsoka Tano falls under, because she doesn't go by the rules of the Jedi Order. Now, want to thank Lady Death for subscribing for 38 straight months, and we'll do a better cheer and all that good stuff tomorrow's show. So keep it locked in for that. So Din Djarin hands Ahsoka the armor, the Beskar armor, and says, "Give this to him." And from there, as they're going through the woods with Luke and Grogu, that's where he's starting to show him, okay, you know, you're going to do this, you're going to do that, you're going to be doing the training. And then he sees Luke bring out the lightsaber, and he starts practicing his skill with the lightsaber, which boggles my mind a lot.
I call it doing the Karate Kid.
Well, yeah, they're doing the Karate Kid, but if you've seen Empire Strikes Back,
which I have,
and you've seen Return of the Jedi,
which I have,
Luke sucks with the lightsaber.
Yeah, he's definitely not a skilled swordsman.
Not like the stuff that you see in the prequels. No way. No.
I mean, Yoda's a badass with that freaking lightsaber.
He has better fighting skills now from the Mandalorian and Book of Boba Fett than he ever had in Return of the Jedi. Because, let's face it, I get it. You know, the choreography of fight scenes back then were a little bit different than they are now. Now it's, hey, no, we can do this. Let's do it. But it was also a great callback to the training droid that Luke had on the Millennium Falcon and all that good stuff, and showing what it does. Yes, JT.
I have a question.
You what?
I have a question.
Okay, by all means, ask your question, my friend.
So while this is going on, all this training and stuff is going on, and they're taking a small break, and they're sitting on the top of the hill, and this is after the Mandalorian or was it Din Djarin handed her the armor.
Yep.
And he goes and he leaves. The Grogu acts like he knows who's in the ship, even though he's never seen that ship.
You want to take this one, Dennis?
No, you go ahead.
All right.
Come on, Dennis. You got to prove that you know something.
I'm giving
I want to hear it from Dennis.
Well, all right, there you go, Dennis. Go ahead.
Come on, Echo.
Why
does Grogu look at the ship and he's never seen it before?
And he reaches out to it.
The connection he and Din Djarin.
Yep.
So he probably senses his presence on the planet.
Absolutely, he does.
Of course he does.
Absolutely, he does. So basically, and this is what Luke is teaching him, that the universe is a wide universe. Okay, there's a lot of things out there, but the Force flows through it. So you have to feel the Force. So when he's doing that, that's why he was looking at the ship, because he felt Din Djarin's presence right then and there, and that's when Luke used it as a teaching moment.
So it's Vader is here moment.
Yep.
Yes.
Okay.
So, Vader is here. I can sense him. He's here. He's on this moon. He's looking for me.
In the Force.
Yeah. It's one of those.
Makes sense.
Just like in the prequels when Obi-Wan and Anakin were in Senator Amidala's room on Coruscant. They sensed those poisonous worms, and Anakin went running and killed them, and that whole scene took place, which is where we see Jango Fett for the first time. Yeah. So
Go Jar Jar Binks.
Shut it. Nothing against Jar Jar, but everything against Jar Jar.
Yeah.
So from there, obviously he leaves, he's teaching Grogu some more, and as Grogu is practicing and jumping from rock to rock and using the droid, and I do have to give Big Tank the props on this one, where he basically gets annoyed with the droid and he beats the living shit out of it and destroys it. which
plays soccer with it before he breaks. And Luke's like, no, that's not how this works.
Yeah. But after that, with the training and jumping and getting him to do basically what Yoda does. When he's being attacked, he jumps, and he uses that to his advantage to flip and get to safety. And so Ahsoka walks up to Luke and hands him the armor, and that's when Luke kind of has doubts about Grogu and if his heart is really into becoming a Jedi or not.
Well, and he also makes the statement of, I don't know if I'm teaching him or if I'm just helping him remember.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. So even Luke is kind of struggling with himself of, am I actually, is he actually my Padawan, or,
right.
Or am I his Padawan?
Yeah. And
kind of thing.
And the best part is Ahsoka even flat out said, you're just like your father. You're just like your father. You have doubts and trust your instincts.
And I love the one other line that she says in that scene. And if you don't really pay attention, you can easily miss it, even though it's right out in the open.
Yep.
Of sometimes the student is the teacher.
Yes.
Love that line.
Yes.
It's really good. I mean, that's like with you and me. When it comes to all this electronic crap, you've been my teacher for 13 years.
Young Padawan.
But every now and then I show you how to do something.
Which is shocking, by the way.
And you're like, wait a minute, who the fuck are you?
Yeah. Like,
so, it's kind of like that.
Move along. And at that point, that's when Luke says to Ahsoka, am I ever going to see you again? And she pretty much says,
We'll see.
Maybe.
Only time will tell, young Padawan.
Yeah, maybe. And we leave them at that. He's basically just, staring at Grogu, kind of reflecting, and Grogu is doing his thing, just chilling out there.
What is he doing? Is he like, taking a nap? Or just sitting on that rock, or what? Because if he was taking a nap with his eyes open.
So I don't know if he was actually taking a nap. I think it's more along the lines of he was resting because of all the jumping around. Like it was. I don't want to say he was exhausted, but
he was worn out.
Yeah, and for someone that little doing all those jumps, again, like Luke said. He's remembering. He's got to be at least remembering. So from there, you kind of see, even Jedis get tired, So from there, back to business. Din Djarin heads back to Tatooine and lands right in Boba Fett's palace. And as a Gamorrean guard is there with his axe, pretty much ready to kill, and he's like, "Hey, I'm here to see Boba Fett."
And at that point, you realize, oh, that's right, this is a Boba Fett series.
Yeah. Big Tank says, "Could he be meditating?" Probably not. Probably not. He might be, but again, we're not going to know. We're probably not going to know until Mandalorian season 3 to be honest.
Until they want us to.
Yeah, or until they want us to. I mean, you never know. So from there, we're back at Boba's palace, and we see in the throne room Fennec Shand, Boba Fett, everybody. They're all there, and they're all around one of those holographic tables where they're pretty much checking out where the Pike Syndicate forces are and how they're mobilizing and they're moving and they're doing whatever. And that the mayor of Mos Espa is off-world and basically just waiting for everything to finish and doing what it needs to. And of course, the Major Domo says, well, he's on vacation. He's on vacation.
This was a planned vacation.
Eat vacations. Just something really stupid.
Nakia has a thought on what Grogu was doing. She says that she thinks it because Grogu was sad.
It's a possibility.
Could be.
It's a very big possibility that he was sad. But you're not going to know. We're not going to know. We didn't see any tears or anything like that, so it is what it is. But at the same time, the crime families are now laying low, and they're letting the Pikes take over.
Which is what they agreed to do.
Which is exactly what they agreed to do. And they basically said, stay out of the way. We'll take care of it. Just from the last couple episodes of Boba Fett, that's what the agreement was. So they were, lay low. We'll do it. We'll take it over.
We'll do it on our own.
And as they're discussing this, Din Djarin walks in, and Shan recognizes that they lack the numbers to find help and to get, basically fight this war. And that's when Din Djarin says, I might be able to help with that. I know some peoples. So later, we see a couple of cool things. Cool throwbacks to Mandalorian Season 1 and 2. One of which is a sandcrawler with a crate dragon skull on it. That was the coolest thing I've ever seen for Jawas.
It was like they took a frickin' Mercedes-Benz or a Jaguar
right?
boat ornament and stuck it on the top of their crawler.
Right?
That's what it was.
Echo, can you find that picture real quick? Because really, like, you always see the Jawas and the sandcrawlers, and they're just this big brown reddish box that just goes all over. Big Tank says Texas Longhorns on a pickup. Yes. Hands down, yes. And you would never think that they would do something like this, but it's a good callback to the crate dragon from season 2 of The Mandalorian. They took a crate dragon out.
I can't find one on the Google right now.
Really? Oh.
Yeah, I actually pull up a video clip, and it's gonna take a while.
Yeah, no, don't worry about it. Don't worry about it.
Yeah.
On Sandcrawler. Let's do that. Just to kind of
Found just a sandcrawler. I can't find the modified one from the episode 6.
Yeah, no, it's not. Wow. Oh, wait, I think I found it.
Yeah, I think I did as well. I'm trying to pull up a bigger picture.
Oh, it's very pixelated.
It's a tiny photo. Yeah.
Yeah, it's very pixelated. It will not do it justice, that's for sure. It really won't. It would not do it justice. So, needless to say, the Great Dragon's skull is on the top of the sandcrawler, right at the front, which is really cool. And as we see the Din Djarin's N1 starfighter flying through, he lands at Mos Pelgo in the center of town on the street.
Bride Park.
Good for him. And of course, he's greeted by the deputy sheriff, also known as Deputy Sheriff Scott, who tells him he can't park here and you need to move. You need to move. We have rules and laws here. Get your ship out of the way. And Din Djarin responds with, well, I'm here to see Cobb Vanth, the Marshal. And, of course, Vance explains that Scott's a little bit jumpy and he needs to kind of chill out. But he also loves that he's got an N1 starfighter. And Djarin says, hey, I haven't seen you in a while. Hope everything's good. I haven't seen you since you gave up the armor. And Vance says, he's a little more careful. And, of course, he asks about Grogu. And, everybody loves that he's with his own folk, is what he says. Which is old school Western. He's with his own folk there. His own kind, so to speak. His own kind. And from there, things start happening. They go into the cantina. They start talking about the upcoming Pike War that's going to be happening and how the Pikes are pretty much going to take over everything. Which, like I said last episode, you don't want to happen. You don't. You don't want the Pikes to take over Tatooine. It's bad. Bad, bad, bad. So, obviously, they're talking about the Krayt Dragon fight and how, they're square, they did whatever. And the bartender, the bartender was interesting. Says, well, you know what? I'm gonna let you know that we're now called Freetown. Yeah, we're now Freetown. Professor Cohn, hello, sir. Good to see you. If you haven't watched Book of Boba Fett episode 6, spoilers, because we're halfway through. Actually, we're almost done. We are almost done. Yes. So from there, this scene alone got my nerd juices flowing. And
hey, Echo, message me on Facebook real quick.
Message you?
Yes.
Me?
Echo.
Oh, Echo. Okay. All right. Well, you guys do what you got to do. He explains that Boba Fett is his forces are outnumbered. They need people, and they may need help. He says, Professor Cohn says, I haven't watched episode 4. Dude, you got to catch up, man. Got to catch up. Got to catch up.
Yeah, we're on 6.
We're on 6. 6. I think this Wednesday is the last episode.
Yeah.
I think it's 7. 7, but it's all good. And Echo, I was told that you need to message Lady Death as well. She sent you messages about a certain competition that we're going to be doing. But anyway.
I'm going to respond.
She's calling you out, boy. Calling you out. So, Din Djarin asks Vanth if he agrees, and he replies that, well, I might know a few people. Let me ask around. So that's the favor. And that's when things get really, really awesome. That's when things get really, really awesome. He says, well, I guess I should leave, so no spoilers, LOL. Entirely up to you. You'll probably forget about it by tomorrow. But that's why we say spoilers. So, as Din Djarin leaves, Vanth is in the middle of the street, and he tells a couple of the folk, hey, listen, get everybody inside. I don't like this. Get everybody inside. And
better safe than sorry.
And we see one person walking in the distance from the desert into town. And let me tell you, this is when I flipped. I went, as soon as I saw the figure in the background, completely blurred out, just walking, I went, oh, it's him.
Like Tank said, it was okay corral time.
Yeah. I keep buffering. Sorry, lady. That's reset. I'm not buffering on my end, though. But
Professor Cohen did say, my memory is slightly better than that. Not if you hang around this show or
no.
tomorrow's show for any length of time.
No, and he knows because we talk almost every day in Discord. We're dumb assholes. Anyway, so Professor Cohen's actually from Simtricia's chat room, which is really cool, and we love that. Which, by the way, she's going to be on the show tomorrow.
Wait.
Spoilers. So from like JT just said, he was reading Big Tank's comment. Okay, corral time. Yes, and for
There you go,
me,
Sully.
oh, there you go. Here you go. Here's the there's the Jawa sandcrawler with the crate dragon skull on it. The concept art, which is amazing.
I did what you two couldn't do.
There you go. Good job, JT. Good job.
And what I found what was really cool was as he was flying by, they were jumping and everything like, hey, we did that. We helped him build that.
We put it up top and it was ours. It was wonderful. So, now comes the fun part, because I know Echo freaked out when he saw him.
You were freaking the fuck out. I'm screaming text.
Did you message me first or did I message you? I can't remember.
I messaged you just generally about the show, and you just couldn't. Oh, you just went on.
I did. It was. I went complete Star Wars nerdgasm, and
He has a habit of doing that.
I do, but there's a reason. There's a reason, because the figure that was walking in the background was bounty hunter Cad Bane. And for those that don't know who Cad Bane is, I'm sure Echo's got his picture waiting to come on up because he was showing it earlier. Cad Bane was first introduced in Clone Wars. And the exact words that I used with Echo and mine's chat was Cad effin' Bane. That's all I said. Cad effin' Bane. And here he is. So this is actually a picture of the action figure, but this is Cad Bane. He is one of the ruthless bounty hunters in the galaxy when it comes to Star Wars.
He's creepy.
Yeah, he is. But I loved that they didn't show his eyes right away, but you heard the mouth. You heard the voice. And it's the original voice actor who's doing the voice for him. And all he says is, whatever Boba Fett is paying you, we will double it. And then he also says, keep your nose out of our business. And
He also says, you never should have lost your armor.
Yeah, you never should have lost your armor. And he also says, Vantha asks if he's threatening him. And Bane
Is that
replies,
friendly advice or a lot of threat?
The coolest thing that matches is Bane replies that Boba Fett is a cold-blooded killer who worked for the Empire. That's it. Which, yeah, technically he's right, but technically he's also wrong, because he was working for Jabba the Hutt.
He was working for whoever would pay him.
Right. And at that point in time, the Empire was paying a ton of credits. So the capture of Han Solo made him rich. Rich.
Just a little.
Just a tad. So Vanth tells the Pikes, he tells Bane that Tatooine is closed for business. Don't want you here. Leave. Do whatever you got to do, but get out of here. And the deputy at this time is already outside the office, ready to shoot.
Oh, he started mouthing off.
Oh,
Yeah, sheriff's not for sale.
yeah.
Yes, this look from Timothy Oliphant, like, shut the hell up.
What the hell is your problem, dude? Just go away.
Knock it
Never
off.
should have hired your dumbass.
Just knock it off. And from there, that's when Vanth says, Bane says to Vanth that he should never have given up his armor. So he knew he had the Mandalorian armor at one point in time. That's how deadly Cad Bane is, by the way. And of course, the two men face off in a shootout, and Vanth gets hit.
Well,
I think the three of us are all in agreement that he's not dead. He got hit in the shoulder.
no, he got hit in the shoulder. They're giving him first aid as we cut to the scene where the bartender stands up and you can tell he's pissed.
Yeah.
You know.
Did I blame the deputy?
I love how they did this, though. I love how they did this because they followed through with how a duel would
Old school duel.
an old school duel, the way that it would really go, where you wait until the other person is distracted.
Yep.
If you have the opportunity, you wait till he is distracted, and that's when you strike. And that's exactly what he did.
Yes.
Because he waited for the sheriff to look over. And as soon as he saw his eyes shift, bang, it was done. Bang, 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 bang.
That was it. And unfortunately, or fortunately, Deputy Scott is no more.
I don't think anybody even went over to check him.
No.
I didn't see anybody cut that way.
He had so much blaster fire, it's not even funny.
Yeah.
I mean,
and just like the meme going around on Facebook, I shot the sheriff, but you didn't shoot the deputy, right? Silence. But you didn't shoot the deputy, right?
Right. And
I love that one.
And from there, we cut from them. What's the word I'm looking for here? Attending Vanth, because he's wounded. He's on the ground, not dead, but we know he's wounded. And then we cut to the sanctuary, Garsa Fwip's sanctuary, and this, I don't know, it kind of pissed me off when I saw this, because I don't know if there's any survivors, but we see two Pike enforcers visit the cantina, and they sit at a table served by a protocol droid who looks very familiar, but it's not C-3PO.
Yeah.
And the droid says, "Hey, you forgot this," and boom, it's a bomb, and it destroys the cantina. I don't know if Garsa Fwip survived. That was a very big explosion.
Yes.
And
this is the second time that the band has gotten blown up.
was the band in there? I didn't.
Yep, the band was in there playing.
Really? I didn't. Hey, you know what? He might survive.
The band was in there playing because they showed the drummer.
If he survived the explosion of Jabba's sail barge, he might survive this as well. Who knows?
He must be part cat.
Right?
Is all I'm gonna say.
So the war is starting now. The war with the Pikes is starting. The cantina is destroyed. We don't know if anybody survived, but hey, it's possible.
I called it. I called it.
You did. You did
I
call
called
it.
it last
Something
week.
was going to happen there.
Mm-hmm.
And from there,
First strike.
we get to the end of the episode where we're back on the planet with Luke and Grogu.
And just we'll say it right now. We have issues.
We have issues. I've expressed the issues, but I
I
also have Devil's Advocate. So here's some where a lot of people are going to have some issues with this scene. Luke is, and Lady Death is even saying BS ending. So here's what we're going to do. I'm going to describe the ending, and then both JT and Echo, I want you guys to kind of give your take, only because I know my nerdiness is going to explain a few things a little bit better, or maybe make things worse. Who knows? So, in this scene, we're in a new Jedi temple, which is what those androids were making. and Luke and Grogu are in the center. They're meditating, and Luke gives Grogu the gift that Din Djarin has, which it's revealing a Beskar chain shirt. Kind of looks like...
I take issue with the word gives. He shows him.
Well, we'll get there. We'll get there. Let's not light the fire under my ass just yet.
Right.
So from there, the first thing that I thought, and Christy said this too as we were watching, oh, it's Mithril. And I went, oh, Lord of the Rings reference. That's so nice. But it did. It looked like Mithril. It looked like the Mithril shirt that both Frodo and Bilbo wear in The Hobbit and The Lord of the Rings. So that was also cool. Lady Death says he displays it. We're getting there, trust me. And what he also does is he explains that it's a gift from Din Djarin and that he wanted to give him this shirt as a gift. And he puts it on the carpet. And you could kind of see the excitement in Grogu's face when he gets to see this. And then he says, but I'm going to give you a choice. And then he shows Grogu Yoda's lightsaber. Now, before I go into any more detail on that, he basically says to him, listen, you can only choose one. If you choose the armor, you will return to Din Djarin and you're done your training. Or you're also going to be giving into your attachments, which is for those that he loves and forsaking the way of the Jedi. So before anybody rips my head off, you have to remember that the Jedi Order, I don't really want to say religion, I want to say order. The Jedi Order, they do not have attachments to people or places or things. Okay? Which I kind of find a little bit of hypocritical, but we'll get there. We'll get there. Okay? So he says to Grogu that if you choose the lightsaber, you will be the first student of the new Jedi Academy and you will become a great Jedi. It takes many years to master the ways of the Force, and that he may never see the Mandalorian again. May never see. He doesn't say he won't see him. May never see him again. And he
explains why.
And then he explains why. And it's mostly because of Grogu's lifespan. Grogu can live for hundreds and hundreds of years. So he's going to see people come and people go. It's just, it is what it is. It's the way things are. But he asks Grogu to make a decision and choose one or the other. Now,
Echo.
Before I get into anything, which one of you two want to go first?
We'll let the middleman go first.
I think it was a good speech. I think it's an important decision that's definitely up to Grogu.
Yes.
Not so much because of his age, but because he's already formed a very strong bond with Din Djarin, and he already has a life experience with that lifestyle. And it would be firstly, it would be unfair to force him to give that up. And the issue with this is both the Mandalorian way and the Jedi way are very all-encompassing, very complete, total 100% commitment ways of life. And it's impossible, at least according to what Lucas tried to sell, it's impossible to do both.
Yes.
You got to really commit to either one or the other. Of course, that whole little shitty comment, technically you live 900 years, so you got to lose people and, everybody's going to die. So technically being a Jedi is a lot cooler. It's kind of a shitty thing to say.
Yeah.
I think it was a real jab. But outside of that, I didn't hate the scene. I think it was left with a cliffhanger because it is a big decision on a tiny 50-year-old toddler that he has to make. No, I'm looking forward. I'm the way I'm seeing this. I think maybe this kind of goes towards something you mentioned before. I don't remember. Did you mention during the show or before about the dark side versus the light side of the Force and the area in the middle?
During with Ahsoka,
So maybe this is where it's going. Maybe he will be able to eventually find balance between the two.
which is a possibility.
Maybe.
Another spin-off for you.
So I did not hate the ending. This is a very
The
long.
Life of Grogu.
So JT, what's your take on the ending?
My immediate reaction was, how fucked up was that? That was a dick-ass move, Luke Skywalker. I hate you.
Yeah.
That was my immediate reaction.
So
Wait.
So tell us why.
Well, I mean, come on. You're asking this kid who obviously, the only person he really knows or has any true attachment to. You're asking him, hey, you can either have him or you can have this unknown thing.
Yeah.
But then I started thinking about it. And, I kind of went semi-geekish, I guess. And the mind flashed back to when him and the diddle lady were talking. And he said, I sometimes wonder if his heart is in it.
Okay.
So this, to me, is the first test, the first true test of Grogu on if his destiny is to be a Jedi or to be something else.
Okay.
And the reason I say it was a dick move was because, come on, you're asking a 1-year-old basically to decide. To me, it's kind of like the old Japanese traditions.
Yes.
Versus the modern day Japanese traditions. Do you want to stay with the way things have been for thousands of years? Or do you want to kind of take it on your own?
Right.
Yeah.
So it sets the groundwork for him. And it kind of like Echo was talking about, it sets the groundwork for, okay, is he going to go the Jedi way or is he going to go the Grey Wizard way? To me, and it also sets it up for a really nice spin-off for the life of Grogu, if they want to go that way.
If they want to go that way, yes.
So,
See-
it was still a dick move.
I want to contest the dick move comment, and I'll explain why. It sounds like a dick move, except for if you think this through. The biggest, especially when you think about the upbringing of Anakin and everything that's happened before that, and at least one of the reasons why he went dark side is because of all the fear and the doubt.
Yes.
Those were the driving forces toward his considering and eventually going toward the dark side. So letting Grogu decide ultimately takes away at least a small fraction of this doubt, because Grogu, this is kind of a teenager psychology. Then later on, he grows up. He doesn't really have anybody else to blame. Well, you forced me to do this or you made me do that. It's a choice you made on your own.
Right.
It's a bed you get to sleep in the end. So, and I think that's where he's going with this. So it's not really a dick move. It's a kind of a no-win situation, but the choice has to be made.
Yeah, it's 6 of one, half a dozen of the other. But like I said, it for Luke, this is a way to answer his question of, is his heart really in this or not?
Yes.
And the dick move thing was just, that was my first reaction. It's like,
yeah,
that's like putting a freaking, it's like putting a lollipop and a big old bag of freaking cotton candy in front of a kid and say, hey, you can only pick one.
Which
Nakai in the chat room says, I find it BS because Yoda did form an attachment to Luke. I call BS because he could have the chainmail as protection and still not see the Mandalorian. I just do not think it was a fair option. I didn't hate it. It was just a BS move. If it was her, if she was Grogu, she would walk away just because of the fact that she was given an ultimatum.
Okay. So I'm glad she mentioned all of that stuff. And here's why. I agree with this entire scene. The whole scene, I agree with. Okay?
Why?
And here's why. Because Western Echo just mentioned it about Anakin. So when Anakin started training, he was 9 years old. And Qui-Gon freed him with the pod race. He bet on his life and was able to free him. The choice was, you can either stay here with your mother or learn to be a Jedi. And you can come with me to Coruscant, go through the trainings, and you become a Jedi. You cannot deal with anything pertaining to your old life. It's a sacrifice. It's a sacrifice you have. Now, if he was born under the Republic, he would have never even known who his parents were. They're force sensitive. You're born under the Republic. You automatically start training to be a Jedi. Okay? So you do not have any absolutes. No emotions. You cut off all ties. Now, as for the ultimatum, this is where I have a little bit of an issue. Because Luke, just like his father before him, has an attachment. And that attachment is his twin sister, Leia.
Mm.
So.
And by this time, he knows about her.
Well, yeah, he does.
Yeah.
And what they're not showing you is that Luke actually trained Leia in the art of the Jedi. Did she become one? No. Does she know a thing or two? Yes. But
Maybe just enough to protect herself.
exactly, just enough to protect herself. Which also brings me to the point of the Beskar shirt and the lightsaber. If you notice, no Jedi wears armor. And the reason being is that lightsaber is their armor. They train themselves with sword fighting and different techniques to block anything that comes their way with that lightsaber. Right? That is their weapon. It's their life. It's their pride and joy. It is a part of them. Case in point, look at Attack of the Clones. Anakin lost his lightsaber like 2 or 3 times. Obi-Wan Kenobi picked it up, gave it back to him. It got destroyed. He got a new one, so on and so forth. You have to use that. It's a part of you. Now,
Well, even when Rey finds Luke's lightsaber.
yes, which brings me to my next point.
Sorry.
No, it was a perfect lead-in. Which brings me to the next point, and this is where the nerdgasm hits in.
Go on.
Here's where the knowledge of Star Wars is my forte. The biggest issue is, where the hell did he get the lightsaber from? Where did he get it from?
I found this.
Yeah, where?
I actually have an answer for that. Do you have the answer for that?
I do.
I think you found it in a pawn shop.
No. So after Order 66, Yoda lost the lightsaber fighting the Emperor. Okay? Lost it in the Senate room. The Senate room was destroyed. The lightsaber gone. There was actually a comic that pretty much went through the aftermath of Order 66 and cleaning up and everything else like that. And the lightsaber was found. And this is why I say Dave Filoni and Jon Favreau are the ultimate people to revive Star Wars. Because they dug and they dug and they went, you remember that comic book where they found Yoda's lightsaber? Let's bring that back. Let's show people what happened with Yoda's lightsaber. And that's why it's around. I forget what comic it was, but they did find Yoda's lightsaber in one of the comics.
Echo's looking it up.
I think. It
Oh,
was,
actually, so the tidbit I read was a little different, and I don't know. Okay, so this is what I found. This is what I found out because when I was looking for the Easter egg explanations.
okay.
Okay, so the header. How did Yoda get his lightsaber back after Revenge of the Sith? Luke offers Grogu Yoda lightsaber. While it was not shown in the original trilogy, the Jedi Master used weapon plenty during the Clone Wars and a climatic battle with Darth Sidious. Unfortunately, he lost the original lightsaber during the duel. So that's what we just went through. So here's what this states. So how does Luke get his Yoda weapon back? Well, it's revealed in Marvel's Age of Rebellion story, The Trial of Dagobah, that Yoda built himself a new lightsaber while in exile on the Swamp Planet.
Which is also a possibility. He could have.
It's the second saber that Luke finds among Yoda's things after the Jedi Master's death.
Okay. So we've got numerous different ways that the lightsaber was brought back. Numerous different ways. Because,
There may be two lightsabers, maybe the original, which they found, but according to this is the one that Luke has, the second one.
So from what I'm seeing in one of the comics, what comic was this? This was after Order 66. All the lightsabers of the fallen Jedi were collected and then put into a furnace to be destroyed. However, because of the kyber crystals inside the lightsabers, it caused a large explosion that rocked the entire square that they were located in. So, in this comic, they basically took everything that happened, took all the fallen Jedi lightsabers, destroyed them all, and they actually made reference to it in a Bad Batch episode with Caleb Doom's backstory. So now we're tying into the Bad Batch, which I can't wait for season. I can't wait for it. I can't wait for season 3. I just can't. I need it. I need the new Bad Batch episodes. But that's besides the point. So, but at the same time, from what I'm also reading, it's a possibility that Darth Sidious found it and kept it as a, I'd be the best Jedi of all.
Freaking trophy.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly. A trophy. There's also the possibility that there was a reference to it in Star Wars Jedi Fallen Order, which is a video game, for those that don't know. So we've got a lot of different theories going on, and I hope that they actually build off of this, because if you don't, you're missing a golden opportunity to get more people in, especially now that they're like, hey, it's Yoda's lightsaber. This is freaking great, you know? So from there, the other thing is, like JT said, Jedi do not deal with material things. Revenge is not the way. They love everybody. They're the hippies of the universe, folks. They're the hippies. The Sith, it's emotion. Emotion.
That is why
drives
tie-dye still exists in the Star Wars universe.
Exactly. But at the same time, and there's a lot of references to Grey Jedi. A lot of references in the books, the comics. The Grey Jedi are the ones who embrace both. There's no right or wrong. If you embrace both, you become even more powerful than the Sith and the Jedi.
And there's the perfect spin-off. There's the perfect spin-off for a new Star Wars, but not Star Wars series. The Grey Jedi.
But there already is a spin-off because Ahsoka has her own show. Okay?
Well, I'm talking about a movie. Kind of thing.
I mean, you could.
I think it'd be cool.
So just to kind of reiterate